Hello everyone, Lamzus here. Today I will be talking about top 5 gunboat destroyers to grind in World of Warships in 2025. As of today, game offers you a choice of 14 lines of destroyers to grind. Some of them are pure torpedo boats, some of them are hybrids, and some focus mainly on guns, hence gunboats. Besides those 14 lines, game offers you a number of premium ships, steel ships, coal ships, and legacy ships, like for example Kaba. I've got some of them, I'm missing quite a few, but this video is purely about Tech 3 destroyers. If you are interested in premium coal or steel destroyers, don't worry, they will be subject of one of my future videos. And one more thing before we start. This video is not the ranking of top 5 best gunboat destroyers. It's just my opinion about the order you should start grind your gunboat destroyers. So let's cut to the chase. Number 5 on my list is Delny line, Soviet gunboat destroyers line, starting from tier 2 with Storozhevoy and ending up with Zorki supership. But we are not talking about superships in this video. The whole line is purely focused on guns. Torpedoes up until tier 7 are 4 km range. Tiers 8 and 9 have 8 km range torpedoes. Whole line have access to smoke consumable and have very good, I would say the best shell arcs. Your grinding gives you tier 10 Delny gunboat destroyer that replaced Khabarovsk. Key features of this ship: very bad concealment, that's very characteristic point of most of the gunboats. Full concealment build around 7.4, but it's fast and very agile. That's the main difference between Delny and Khabarovsk. What else? You've got smoke consumable, but you can swap it to repair party and increase your health pool. And that's what I'm doing. I'm playing it as open water gunboat with repair party, no smoke. Guns are main selling point of this line. You've got typical Russian 130mm guns, 6 of them, with 15.8 kilometers of range. This is maximum you can get, but this is enough. It's comfortable. The battleships and cruisers, they will have big problems to hit you, and at 15.8 kilometers you will easily hit them back because you've got great shell velocity and great drag coefficients, so they don't slow down and they have great arcs. Now let's talk about elephant in the room. DPM, HE DPM of Delny is almost the worst. Only Shimakaze and Elbing have worse HE DPM than Delny. But please, if you are an experienced player, you know that raw DPM means nothing. Effective DPM is everything, and at 12 kilometers and more, Delny's effective DPM is very high because of this shell arcs, velocity, and overall good shell performance. So don't try to out DPM enemy destroyers at close distance. Just keep them at 10-12 kilometers range and just farm damage, because this is what the Delny was created, farming damage at a distance at 12 kilometers and more. Okay, jumping to the next one. Number 4 on my list of gunboats is Elbing line. Yes, I can hear it. Oh, this is such a bad ship, such a bad destroyer. Well, maybe, but it's a great gunboat and I love this ship. That's why I'm recommending it. The unique playstyle when you spam almost exclusively AP shells. Gun characteristics. These are more like light cruiser guns, not destroyer guns. So long reload, but they have great penetration and very good damage. The whole line splits from the main German line at tier 7. You lose access to hydro consumable, but you switch from 128mm guns to cruiser-like 150 mils with great AP performance. If you look at this ship's characteristics, concealment, speed, gun reload, they are very crappy destroyers. But they are crappy only until you realize that these are not destroyers. You are grinding destroyers, and at the end you get tier 10 Elbing, destroyer in name only, but actually it's a light cruiser with 6.5 kilometers of concealment, smoke consumable, great penetration on 650mm guns, and quite good torpedoes. Their only weakness is actually speed, because they are very stealthy and hard-hitting with good reload. Only speed is lacking. But let's talk about guns, because this is the gunboat. So, on top of great range, 16 kilometers, great penetration and shell arcs, these guns have improved pen angles on AP shells and amazing accuracy. These are most accurate guns in the game. 57 meters of dispersion at maximum range. So if you want to check how good you are at shooting, or if you want to learn how to aim and shoot properly without RNG interfering, this is the line for you. Next line, number 3 on my list, is complete opposite to Elbing, Harugumo line. It used to be the shortest line in the game, containing only 3 ships, Akizuki, Kitakaze and Harugumo, but unfortunately it was used to farm research bureau points, and some time ago Wargaming decided to add 3 ships before Akizuki, Minekaze, Katsuharu and Shirayatsuyu, and unfortunately those 3 are not exactly gunboats, so you may struggle a little bit playing these 3 until you get to Akizuki. At the tier 8 with Akizuki everything changes. You get access to these great 100mm guns, the staple for this line. These ships become true gunboats with massive DPM. Funnily enough, despite having massive DPM on HE shells, these ships retain quite good concealment, 6.1 or 6.2 kilometers, depend on a tier, and smoke consumable. So you've got proper destroyers that can contest caps, spot for you, or even torp, but at the same time, thanks to great HE DPM, you are not afraid of other destroyers at close distance, and you can use your guns to farm massive amount of damage from cruisers and battleships while using your smoke. At the end of your grind you will get tier 10 Harugumo, a Japanese destroyer gunboat with 6.2 concealment range, smoke consumable, 10 100mm guns with great reload, good HE penetration, 30 mil, and you can even increase it with IFHE to 37mm. There's only a few things you need to watch out when you play Harugumo. Yes, you've got quite good concealment for a gunboat, but there are destroyers that outspot you by quite a lot. Harugumo is big, quite slow, and bed-turning destroyer, so you need to take this under consideration when you play it. And yes, you've got best HE DPM in the game out of all destroyers, but your shells are very small and they have bad drag coefficient, so the arcs are tragic at the distances above 10 kilometers. So when you are exchanging fire with destroyers, you need to watch out to be close, because from the longer distance they will hit you more often than you hit them. Okay, next one. Number 2 on my list is Gdansk line. This is European destroyer line containing ships from different countries and different time periods, so they are all over the place regarding gun power, torpedo power and stuff like this, but they have few things in common. They are quite fast, they have smoke consumable, and their torpedoes are typical European torps with very low alpha damage. Starting from tier 8 Split and following by Katsonis and finishing at tier 10 Gdansk, they have access to radar consumable. This is short lasting, 10 seconds only, but long range, 9 kilometers radar that helps enhance other DDs. Wargaming recently substantially buffed Split and Katsoni's DPM, and they became very dangerous gunboats, because earlier it wasn't the case. And now the grind is pleasant, and at the end you will end up with tier 10 Gdansk, Polish/French destroyer with great DPM, second only to Harugumo at tier 10, with good torpedoes with 10 km range, low alpha damage. This is very fast ship with access to smoke consumable, and of course, staple of this line, this 9 km short-lasting radar. So far so good, but this ship has some weaknesses as well. The first one is bad concealment. The second one is no access to AP shells, HE only. And the third one I would say is bad angles on turrets, so you need to show a lot of broadside to use all your guns. Overall, one of the strongest gunboats in the game, but has its weakness as all of them have. And we finally can jump to number 1 on my list, the ship you should start your adventure with gunboats, in my opinion, and this is Kleber line. These are French gunboat destroyers. First few tiers might be a little bit difficult because this whole line characteristic is they don't have access to smoke consumable. So you are smokeless ship first few tiers with nothing special really, not very good concealment. They are all very fast and they have French saturation. These are the traits of this line, but starting at tier 6 you get access to reload booster. This is the staple of this line. After grinding this line you will end up with tier 10 Kleber, and this is a monster. In my opinion it's the best gunboat in the game currently in 2025. And unlike the other lines I was talking about, let's start with cons and weaknesses of this line. So the first glaring weakness is concealment. With my full concealment build it's 7.8 kilometers, so it's very bad. Weakness number 2, as I said before, the line has no access to smoke consumable and the Kleber doesn't have smoke as well. And weakness number 3, it has really weak DPM, especially HE DPM, only 137,000 per minute. So it's 4th in the class. Only Delny, Shimakadze and Elbing are worse in HE DPM than Kleber. So wait a second, how a ship without a smoke, with bad concealment and bad DPM can be the best gunboat in the game? Well, let me explain. I will start with good things about this ship and how they synergize to, all in all, give you the best gunboat in the game. So the first good thing is a French saturation. The second good thing is speed. This is very speedy boat. 46.2 knots with speed flag. And on top of it, you've got speed boost that gives you 20% additional speed. So you will end up with 55-ish knots. Number 3, guns. They have great shell arcs and great shell velocity and good alpha damage. And then you've got French reload booster that gives you minus 50% reload time on main battery. And that changes everything and makes this ship the best gunboat in the game. If you are a good player, combination of speed, agility, French saturation gives you ability to relocate to the point where you are needed and avoid enemy fire, and if you eventually get hit, damage will be reduced by French saturation. Then you've got guns with long range and great shell arcs and shell velocity. That lets you farm damage from battleships and cruisers very comfortably while being safe because you are too fast and maneuverable to be hit. And the reload booster is your insurance. When you meet other destroyers, you are faster than them, so harder to hit. When you get hit, you have French saturation that reduces damage you receive, and suddenly for 15 seconds, thanks to your reload booster, you've got way much more DPM than them. Because even Harugumo, the best in the class, is outclassed by you by 40k per minute. Of course, I've seen countless of times people just charging with Kleber, using their reload booster and just die. Yeah, you can do that too, but if you are a good player, you can use the tools you've got from this ship and make it a beast. So these are my top 5 gunboats destroyers to grind in 2025. In the next video I will be talking about top 5 cruisers to grind in 2025. So thanks for watching and of course see you in the next one.